Hi there and welcome back to Circuit the World. My name's Alice and today we are coming in to do something a little bit different. So I've been having a conversation recently about personality traits and Myers-Briggs and all this stuff. And it kind of got me interested to come and sit down and do a proper personality test. Now I have done this test before. I think I had two different but similar results. And the tests were not taken like day after day. They were taken a few years apart. So I'm very interested to see if since last taking the test, if anything's changed again, and also to kind of share with you guys my test. I know people have done this before on YouTube. This is certainly not an original idea, but I wanted to take the test again anyway, and I thought I may as well bring you along for the ride. So I'm going to take the 16 personalities test. There's going to be a link to this test down in the description box below. So if you fancy doing it yourself, click that link and go find out your personality types. Now, these things obviously have to be taken with a little bit of a pinch of salt. The Myers-Briggs stuff is it is very set in what it says, but it can be taken and interpreted different ways. I think different websites could possibly give you different results. So as always, when taking online tests, do take results with a teeny bit of a pinch of salt. This is the one I've done before. You get these cutie little animated characters down here. Now, the guy I've had before is this little wizard dude. And when I got the wizard dude, I don't think he's called the wizard, but I call him the wizard because that's what he looks like. When I got that guy, I just read through everything and I was like, yes, yes, yes. So I very much aligned with what that was telling me. So I kind of stand by feeling that that's probably quite true to form for what my personality type is. But I'm going to not ramble too much because I'll kind of talk through as we go through it and do things. We're just going to sit down, have a nice chill, talk through some things, and you'll get to know me a little bit better as well through this. So let's just get started and take the test. It feels weird not having my headphones on. I'm so used to having headphones on. Okay, so you regularly make new friends. Oh, I hate this. Because you're supposed to be super, super honest. It's like bearing one's soul to the internet. You regularly make new friends. I think so. I'm going to go with this one. You'll probably notice I don't strongly agree or disagree with many of these because I'm very bad at doing that anyway. Even if I do like surveys on like how was your experience or how was your meal or something like that, I never tend to go to extremes unless I 100% think there's a justifiable reason for this extreme, if you will. So I'll go with this one. You spend a lot of your free time exploring various random topics that pique your interest. What does that mean? I mean, sure. But I tend to kind of pursue things that I am already interested in and kind of expand from that. So let's go with this. Seeing other people cry can easily make you feel like you want to cry too. I'm going to agree with that. You often make a backup plan for your backup plan. This is actually something I've started to do more in later life than when I was younger. I had a job that basically I was told to never come with a problem, to always come with a problem and a couple of solutions for said problem. So I kind of taught myself to solution find, if you will. So I definitely do this more than I used to. I'm gonna strongly agree with that. You usually stay calm, even under a lot of pressure. Not when time limits are involved, I think, as you all know if you've seen any other videos on this channel. We're gonna go for this, probably, because I'd say I probably stay calm more so than I don't stay calm, if that makes sense, but not super strong either way. At social events, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. This is me. This is what I do. I stick like glue to people I know, to people I go to parties with, if I go to parties. And I very much let them introduce me to other people rather than I'm not the one who'll go up and be like, hi, how's it going? Haha, funny joke. I'll be more like, so Sally here knows John over there, and Sally will introduce me to John, and then I'll get into the conversation, right? So this is very me. At social events, you rarely try to introduce. So we're going to strongly agree with that one because that is me to a T. Okay, 10% done. We're going to whiz through this. You prefer to completely finish one project before starting another? No. Well, I prefer to, but I don't. Ever. You're very sentimental. I am quite a sentimental person. In fact, I'm going to strongly agree with this because I am quite sentimental. You like to use organization tools like organization tools like schedules and lists. No, I don't plan things out at all. Even a small mistake can make you doubt your own abilities and knowledge. Jesus Christ, can we like back off me, please? Yes. Again, this is a very context-based thing because in some contexts you can be like, you did that wrong, and I'll be like, okay, cool, thank you for the feedback, let's move forward from it. But others will be like, there are things that happened years ago, and even to this day I'll sit and think, shit, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Let's go over here because context is key. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking a conversation. No, I'd be a nervous wreck. I'd want them to call me over and then I'd feel comfortable doing that. You're not too interested in discussing various interpretations and analysis even of creative works. No, I am. I enjoy doing that. So to me, this is like theorizing and things. Like, I love how two people. One of the best experiments. This is the thing. My head's everywhere. One of the most interesting things for me, and I love doing this with people, is I describe a scene. And it's really fun to do it with artsy people, because then I ask them to draw the scene I've described, or draw the character I've described. And it's so interesting to me that people can take the same thing and see it so many different ways. I find that so mind-boggling. It's a little bit like colors. No one knows if we actually all see the same color the same. My red might be purple to you, but you know purple is red. So when I say red, you just think purple. What is purple to me? Does that make sense? We're gonna strongly disagree with this one, because I am interested in discussing various. So yes, you're more inclined to follow your head than your heart. Oh no, head and heart fight a lot. Let's go bang in the middle for that. You usually prefer just doing what you feel like at every given moment instead of planning a particular daily routine. No, I will revert back to the list. I'm very not sporadic. I hate when people drop things on me last minute. It's my worst nightmare. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. Nope. So I'm getting a bit better at it as I get older, because it is something I'm consciously aware of that I do, and I used to be a lot worse for it, and absolutely agonizing about what people thought of me and how I came across to other people, and if I kind of fit the mold, if you will. And I am trying to be, and have tried to be, a lot more kind of happy with myself, if that doesn't sound too deep at this moment. Though we're going to get into it, aren't we? This is what we're doing today. So I don't know if that was too strong. Can I go back? Let's drop it down one, because I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I do still care. Like, I'll make decisions based on, like, for example, I want to rant about something. I'm like, I don't know, is this going to make people think differently of me if I rant to them about this? Who should I rant to this about? Do I have the right person? Should I just keep it to myself? Should I just rant to myself about it? So I do still care a lot what people think. And I think me doing this is kind of maybe a marker of that. You enjoy participating in group activities. I don't mind it. Do I enjoy? I don't know. It's been so long since I've done a group activity. Again, this is dependent on context. If you throw me into a group of random people, I'm going to be extremely uncomfortable in that situation. But if it's an established group of people I know, then I'd totally be fine with that. So let's hit the middle for that one. You like books and movies that make you come up with your own interpretations and endings of the ending. Sorry, I'm not crazy hot into them, but I don't mind them. Right. So again, I think I'm just going to go for the middle. Couple of middle ones. I kind of don't want to go in the middle, though. I think it suggests you don't. Oh well, so that we've done it. Your happiness comes more from helping others accomplish things than your own accomplishments. I'm a problem solver by nature, self-defined. Ask my friends if that's actually true. If people come to me with issues, I do tend to try. This all roots back to the whole come to me with a problem and 2 solutions, not come to me with a problem. I just am naturally more trained now to kind of, or I've self-trained myself to look for solutions and try and fix things and make things better. It's very much something I strive for. If people come to me and they're like, I'm sad, I'm like, right, how do I make you happy? What do I do? What do I need to do to make you happy again? How do I do that? So my happiness comes more from helping others accomplish things than my own accomplishments. I mean, I don't know. This is a hard one for me. I don't think I've ever struggled with this question from very vague memory of doing this test before, because the sense of accomplishment I get from, well, no, you see, now the accomplishments I'm thinking of are aided by other people helping me. So maybe flip side backwards, this is, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna very lightly agree with this. Am I? No, I'm going to sit in the middle. I'm going to make it a pointless question and sit in the middle, because I genuinely can't categorically say yes or no on that. You're interested in so many things that you find it difficult to what to try next. Yeah. I mean, I have core passions, but talking like strictly about YouTube stuff now, because this is mainly where I think this affects me. There's so many different things I want to do on the channel. There's so many different series I want to do, or different games I want to play. And I do constantly find that I'm like, at the moment, I'm currently thinking which games I need to put a couple of games on pause at the moment, because I've got like 5 running at the same time. and I sit down to record, and even though I've got the list and I know what I've got to record, I'm like, yeah, but do I really fancy playing that? Or like, I know at the moment some videos and some series are going to do better than others, so I want to prioritize those, but at the same time I don't want to leave the other ones because I don't want to walk away from them because I personally enjoy playing them as well. It's a whole mess, so we are going to agree with this one fairly strongly. You're prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worse. I do tend to plan for the worst case scenario. I have a very positive outlook on things, but I also plan for the worst case scenario. So I am gonna, again, semi-strongly agree with that. You avoid leadership roles in group settings. Nope. I like to not necessarily be in control, but I like to have one hand on the wheel at least. So let's pop that there. You're definitely not an artistic type of person. Moving on. You think the world would be a better place if people relied more on rationality and less on their feelings? No, the world would be much more boring if people were just led by logic, because everyone would think the same way. So I'm going to disagree with that. You prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax? No, I put those off as much as I can until I'm like, okay, I really need to do that now, and then I get myself super stressed. I'm a smart bean. You enjoy watching people argue? No. You tend to avoid drawing attention to yourself? Well, I think this kind of nips that one in the bud. So let's disagree. Your mood can change very quickly. Now that's highly dependent on how much sleep I've had. I kind of want one here now. Let's go here. You lose patience with people who are not as efficient as you. No. Definitely not. I try and help these people to be more efficient. You often end up doing things at the last possible moment. I couldn't agree more with that. You've always been fascinated by the question of what, if anything, happens after death. Kind of. So I have this thought sometimes and I'm like, no, I don't want to think about that. That's scary. And I have no idea. And it's just stressful to think what comes next. I don't want to contemplate that. And then other times I find it really interesting that there's so many ideas of what comes next and so many different kind of takes on that. That really interests me. But then I guess that reverts back to this whole people are taking a different take on things that we spoke about earlier. So let's go for here. Feels about right. You usually prefer to be around others than on your own. Sorry, people. I do love my friends and family, and I love spending time with people, but no, I also really like my own time. You become bored or lose interest when discussion gets highly theoretical. No, I'm a theorizer. So I'm gonna disagree, I think, with that one. You find it easy to empathize with a person whose experiences are very different from yours. I'm a very empathetic person. So yes, I strongly agree that I can easily empathize with people, even if I haven't been through the same experience with them. I find it very easy to latch onto emotions, and kind of, I'm very good at putting myself in, I say this, do I sound like an arsehole? And here we are back to me worrying about how I'm coming across to people. Well, this is going extremely well, isn't it? But I feel like and now I'm going to quantify it to make me sound less. I do find it easy to kind of put myself in other people's shoes and empathize and kind of feel their feelings. I'm very good at locking onto other people's feelings, I think, personally. There you go. There's me defending my opinion. Usually postpone finalizing decisions for as long as possible. Decisions. No, not decisions. Finalize doing things that I don't necessarily want to do, yes, but decisions, I'm pretty good at kind of knowing I need to come to a decision and taking a decision and assessing the options I have on the table and then moving forwards with the one I want to do. So let's go here and see what that does. You rarely second guess the choices you have made. Well then. After a long and exhausting week, a lively social event is just what you need. No, I need a glass of wine, a nice thing on TV, and a cozy duvet. You enjoy going to art museums? Sure. I'm going to go for this one, actually. Art museums are okay, but it depends on the museum, and I do kind of get a bit bored of art museums after a while. Art museums, as in like paintings and pictures and sculptures. That's how I'm interpreting that question. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. No. I do not often have a hard time. I do not often have a hard time understanding people saying, yes, I've done that right. You like to have a to-do list for each day. You rarely feel insecure. I wish I rarely felt insecure. That would be lovely. It would be really nice to rarely feel insecure. I have a good day and then like 6 bad days. You avoid making phone calls. No, I'm pretty good at making phone calls, actually. I have to normally like be like, right, we're making a phone call. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's go. Let's get it over with. But I can't make them. So we're going to go for this one. This one. This one. You often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own. Yes, I will agree with that because I like to, especially if I'm debating something, I like to understand all perspectives. I like to understand each side of the argument. And then either if I've already got my side, then I like to at least feel like I can understand someone else's opinion on it, but then have my own opinion. Or if I don't know anything about the topic, I like to understand both sides before I make a decision. I like to be educated about things before I make decisions about them, which I think is a very smart thing to do. The one thing I can't get on board with is when you have a differing opinion from someone and someone just outright says, you're wrong, my opinion's right, change it. I cannot deal with that. And that is the fastest way to get me to stop talking or stop arguing, because that's yelling at a brick wall, and I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to stand and have someone tell me my opinion, which is an opinion, not fact, is wrong. Because an opinion in my opinion can't be wrong because it's an opinion, not a fact. Anyway, moving away from that. In your social circle, you are often the one who contacts your friends and initiates activities. I'm gonna go with this. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible. If my plans are interrupted, I sulk normally. But I do try and find a way to fit things back in that have been moved around. But I'm only gonna like that much agree with it. You're still bothered by mistakes you made long ago. Yes, but not as much as I used to be. I can't be bothered to hold grudges. I find grudges such a waste of energy. So if I do hold a grudge, you've wronged me and I shan't ever forget it. But yeah, there are still things I'll think over, like things that happened a few days ago and a few days after the fact. I'll be like, ugh, could I have handled that better? Did I handle that correct? Should I have handled it differently? So yes, I am still bothered, but not overtly, not like oppressively. I can move away from some things, but some things still do get to me. You rarely contemplate the reason of human existence or the meaning of life. Yeah, I don't tend to think about that too often. I mean, if it comes up in topics, sure, but yeah, let's go for that. Your emotions control you more than you control them. Ooh, tricky. Tricky one. I'm a very emotional person, that's for sure. I definitely say I was emotional. Does that make me sound? Here I am again questioning how I'm coming across. Wow, can I go back to that question and make sure that we fully agree on that one? I can't remember what I clicked now, but I can get very passionate. Now, is passionate linked to emotions? This is the questions we begin to ask. I am going to this much agree. Yeah, I'm going to that much agree on that one. You take great care not to make people look bad, even when it is completely their fault. Yes, no, I do this, even if it's their fault. I mean, I'll call someone out if they're wrong, and especially if they come at me and they're like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, okay, here is exhibit A, B, C, D, E, down to Z. All right, you're wrong. Deal with it. I wouldn't like belittle someone. I wouldn't try and belittle them or make them feel bad about themselves, even if they were completely in the wrong. I don't think. Because I don't like upsetting people. Ooh, I'm gonna agree this much. I'm not gonna strongly agree, for sure. It's between these two. I feel like before I would have clicked this. I'm actually gonna click this one. Because like I said, I think in my age, as I've grown and as I've kind of changed, as we all do, I just feel like I've lost patience with people. So I try and be as nice as I can to people. I try and be empathetic and I try and be sympathetic, and I try and, if people make mistakes, I'm 100% up for second chances. I'm a big believer in second chances. But would I make them look bad though? Would I take care to not make... I'm going to go here. Because I don't think I'd actively want to make them look bad, but if they kept going, all gloves would come off. You know what I mean? We're going to go for here. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than organized and consistent effort. Nope. I make a decision I'm going to do something, sit down, get it done, and then it's done. So we're going to disagree with this. We're going to actually strongly disagree with this. I'm all about the organization. I don't come across as an organized person, that's for sure. But I have lists and things, and like even in the back of this book, there is a list of all the games that I have planned to play and things that people have asked me to play and stuff. So fear not, anything you guys say and suggest does come through to me, and it does normally get written in the yellow book. Or the... Is it yellow? Well, it's more yellow, isn't it? No, you tell me. I think it's yellow. It's supposed to be orange. It's a really cool book. I think I've showed you it before. My mum got it for me for Christmas. It's very, very cool. It says, see you in the next video down the spine as well. I don't know if you can see that. Now you can. It's so cute. I'm so mad that I creased the front cover because I had to fold the page. Well, I keep folding the pages over to write on these pages, and I'm so mad I did that. And I've got distracted. Let's get back to this, shall we? When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take for them to feel disappointed in you. I don't know if I'm not waiting for people to feel disappointed in me, but I guess I worry that I'll do something and make them go, oh, you're not like what I thought at all. So I wouldn't say I act up. I am me. I do me. I don't have time for pretenses. I don't have time for acting. And I think if people don't like me for me, then they're not going to like me. I'm not going to force people to like me if they don't like me for me. I'm not going to change to fit what other people want, right? Maybe when I was younger I would have done, but definitely not now. It's not something I plan on doing. I am me. I'm very happy with, well, to an extent, I'm very happy with me. I'm happy with the type of person I am. I'm happy with the kind of morals and all that stuff that I have. So I'm very happy with me as me. That doesn't make sense. So I don't think I'd wait for people to feel disappointed, but I think if I knew someone had me high on a pedestal, I would be worried about disappointing them. I'm going to disagree with this one because it's not how long for me, but it is a concern that they will feel disappointed, if you get me. So we're going to go this much. You would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. Well, I don't mind being around people, although I suppose yeah, okay, I'm probably going to agree with this. Because I don't mind working in a group of people, but I like being like, okay, this is my thing to do. I'll bring it back when it's done. But then at the same time, if I work in a group of people, I also like to have one hand on the wheel and know what everyone's doing. So let's just agree and move on. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time? No, I don't think so. I think it's healthy to kind of explore the what ifs. You feel more drawn to places with busy, bustling atmosphere. Whoa, no. Give me that nice, quaint little lakeside rather than a city center, please, any day. You know at first glance how someone is feeling. Can I read people? Maybe. I can normally tell if someone's, well, obviously the closer I am to someone, the easier I can read them, but let's go for here. Maybe last page? You often feel overwhelmed. No, I don't often feel overwhelmed. I don't think so. No, we're going to disagree. You complete things methodically without skipping over any steps. I don't really have anything that I do that I could skip a step, right? So I guess I complete things methodically without skipping steps. I guess so. I'm a creature of habit. Am I a creature of habit? Who knows? Let's agree. You're very intrigued by things labeled as controversial. I like to discuss them. Yes, let's oh god, I wish there was one in the middle. I have to make a decision now. Let's go for this. You would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. Would I? Oh god, yeah, I would. And it's not a good thing. I really don't. Jesus. Because the problem is I would feel guilty. Oh, God. Needed it more, though. Not wanted it more. Needed it more. Needed it more. So, yeah, I probably would. Let's pop it there. You struggle with deadlines. You feel confident that things will work out for you. Oh, my God. This is... this actually stems back to me being extremely positive. And it doesn't help me most of the time because I'm like, this is going to be fine. Everything's going to be great. Love's going to be dandy. It's all going to fall in my lap. And then it doesn't. And I'm like, well, what's the point? Everything's crushing and decimated and I don't care anymore. And I literally do this kind of thing. And it's not good. I hate that I do it most of the time because it often ends in crushing realizations that life is not rose-tinted glasses. And I think part of me wishes it was, but knows it isn't. And that's kind of like the balance of life, if you will, for me. So let's go with here. Let's see my results. Let's see if I get my wizard dude again, or if something has changed. Because I'm confident there are some questions I've answered differently today than I have in the past. I am very interested to see if I get the result I think I'm gonna get. INFJ. Okay, so that has not changed. How very interesting. Okay, cool. Let's have a look then. So that's exactly the same. I think the first ever time I took this, I got something, one of the letters was different. I can't remember which now. But the second time I took it, I definitely got the little wizard dude because I remember him vividly. And when I was looking through this earlier, I remember nodding along and being like, this all rings very true, very familiar to me. So these are things I think I've seen before. Mind, this trait determines how we interact with our environment. So I'm 62% introverted, 38% extroverted. That is very much the balance I would give it. Like, I wouldn't say I was so introverted that I hate going outside and I don't like seeing other people. I am okay going outside. I am happy going to see other people. I'm happy being in social groups and doing social things and that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't say I was fully introverted, but I do find certain events, certain situations, certain groups of people, I find maybe more draining than others. And so I do feel like I do, at the end of those, I don't know, meetups, let's call them, because I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. I do feel I have to come and like, I want my own space and I want my chill time and I want to kind of recharge. But there are also times where if I spend too much time on my own, I seek out people. So like, it's very lucky at the moment that I'm back with my parents, because there are times where I've been like, okay, I've spent a lot of time with me. I'd like to go and not spend time with me. Energy, the traits we show when we direct our mental energy. Intuitive versus observant. So again, it's a very kind of similar, it's just over. It's definitely more one side than the other, but it's not like this one's a lot more of a heavier split. Nature, this trait determines how we make decisions and cope with our emotions. So I'm much more feeling than thinking. Tactics, this trait reflects our approach to work, planning, and decision making. Judging versus prospecting. Yeah. 64% judging over 36% prospecting. And then identity, this trait underpins all others, showing how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. So I'm more turbulent than assertive. How very interesting. I'm a diplomat. This is your role. It determines your goals, interests, and preferred activities. Constant improvement. This is your strategy. It determines how you approach everyday situations and achieve your goals. Oh, I feel like I'm being called right out with that one. Introduction to strengths and weaknesses will definitely go through, but I might just jump through the other ones, pull out things that are interesting or that I think are worthy of further comment from me. So, treat people as if they were what they ought to be, and you help them become what they are capable of being. Advocates are the rarest personality type of all. Woohoo! I'm rare! Still, advocates leave their mark on the world. They have a deep sense of idealism and integrity, but they aren't idle dreamers. They take concrete steps to realize their goals and make a lasting impact. Okay, yep. Again, I kind of read through this a little bit earlier. I didn't read through the whole thing, but this was my point where I was like, yep. So this really... I'm kind of glad I got the same result again, because this really did resonate with me and it felt very me. Advocates' unique combination of personality traits make them complex and quite versatile. For example, advocates can speak with great passion and conviction, especially when standing up for their ideals. At other times, however, they may choose to be soft-spoken and understated, prefer to keep the peace rather than challenging others. Yes. Standing up for what's right. Advocates generally strive to do what's right, and they want to help create a world where others do the right things as well. People with this personality type may feel called to use their strengths, including creativity, imagination, and sensitivity, to uplift others and spread compassion. Concepts like egalitarianism and karma can mean a great deal to advocates. I like karma a lot. It's something I very much, I hope is a thing. Advocates may see helping others as their purpose in life. They are troubled by injustice and they typically care more about altruism than personal gain. As a result, advocates tend to step in when they see someone facing unfairness or hardship. Many people with this personality type also aspire to fix society's deeper problems in the hope that unfairness and hardship can become a thing of the past. I stand by that. I don't know if I'm as strong... this is going to sound awful. I don't know if I'm as strong this as it may be implying. right? Don't get me wrong. I genuinely and definitely agree with this stuff, that it's unfair and it shouldn't be, and everyone should just be treated the same. Nothing matters, nothing determines what kind of a person you are apart from the kind of person you are, right? You make decisions in life that determine the kind of person you are, not because of your skin color or your gender or your ability or religious beliefs or political beliefs or any of that, right? They don't matter. They are things that make you who you are, but they're not things that define who you are. And I guess maybe for me at the moment, I don't feel like I'm in a position to be able to do this, right? And you know, part of this is gonna sound shitty as well, but part of the reason I wanted to do the YouTube stuff and I wanted to make this grow was so I had a platform and an opportunity where I could try and do more charity streams and raise money for people and kind of help that way, use my voice to do good. You have a voice, use it for good. Used to be on the back behind me for a while. So yeah, I do feel that, maybe not as strongly, but again, I think my feeling here is that I don't feel as strongly this as of the moment, because I just don't feel like I'm in a position where I can do everything I want to do. And I think we're going to touch on that later, in that kind of, I've always really been 100% or 0%. I don't really give any, I don't ever half-ass anything. I'm either throwing myself at something or I'm giving it no time at all. Nothing like lights up an advocate like creating a solution that changes people's lives. Connecting with others and themselves. Advocates may be reserved, but they communicate in a way that is warm and sensitive. This emotional honesty and insight can make a powerful impression on the people around them. Advocates value deep, authentic relationships with others. I cannot stand stronger behind that. And they tend to take great care with other people's feelings. That said, these personalities also need to prioritize reconnecting with themselves. Advocates need to take... Yeah, I am reading that right. Just said it about 7 times. I'm worried I was reading it wrong. Advocates need to take some time alone now and then to decompress, recharge, and process their thoughts and feelings. Yes, I literally mentioned this a moment ago. So again, at the moment we're getting a lot of yeses, we're getting a lot of agreement from me. This rings very true. Cost of success. At times, advocates may focus so intently on their ideals that they don't take care of themselves. Ouch, stop calling me out. Advocates may feel that they aren't allowed to rest until they've achieved their unique vision of success, but this mindset can lead to stress and burnout. If this happens, people with this personality type may find themselves feeling uncharacteristically ill-tempered. Oh my god. Let me just highlight this a few more times. You don't see it. You certainly don't see it. And you never, very, very rare, I very much doubt you ever will. But let me just reiterate, yes. I get very frustrated very quickly when things, oh my god, this was a stupid idea, I'm being called out. Advocates may find themselves feeling especially stressed in the face of conflict and criticism. These personalities tend to act with the best of intentions, and it can frustrate them when others don't appreciate this. At times, even constructive criticism may feel deeply personal or hurtful to advocates. A personal mission. Many advocates feel compelled to find a mission for their lives. When they encounter inequality or unfairness, they tend to think, how do I fix this? They are well suited to support the movement of right or wrong, no matter how big or small. Advocates just need to remember that while they're busy taking care of the world, they need to take care of themselves too. I will agree with this. Like, this is going to sound really stupid now, but I do always think, like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? What's Alice's path? What is that supposed to be? And how do I make sure I'm on it so I know I'm making progressive steps in the right direction to stay on that path and do my path as intended, right? However you want to interpret, do your path. That's up to your own interpretation. I have my own interpretation of that. I'm not going to discuss it because I don't want to, but, you know, you'll interpret that as you will. So yeah, I again, this stuff, it feels a little bit too world focused for me personally, right? I don't think that's sounding arsish, but that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's a little bit too outside of me focused, yeah? I mean, at the moment, I feel like I want to focus on building me up so I can do more outside of me, right? Because at the moment, I don't feel like I'm in a position I can, if that makes sense. But there's a couple of these hits that I come and I'm like, well, the principle of what you're saying, yes, I completely stand behind, but the way you're phrasing it is a little bit too... I'm not so detached from myself, right? I'm not gonna... Again, this is something I'm doing more as I get older and I kind of learn more about myself, but I'm not gonna put myself in peril or pain or anguish or stress for the sake of someone else, not necessarily as much as I would used to, if you get me, but I still want to help that person as much as I can, right? Does that make sense? Strengths and weaknesses. This one's going to be interesting. Here he is. Here's my little wizard dude. I recognize him a lot. I like to think I'm a wizard. I'm happy to call myself a wizard, even though it says advocate. But I'm going with wizard because the avatar looked like a wizard. Creative. Advocate personalities enjoy finding the perfect solution for the people they care about. To do this, they draw on their vivid imagination and their strong sense of compassion. This can make them excellent counselors and advisors. I have harked on, I'm sure, in the past about self-identifying as a very creative person, in more ways than one. But yes, I do this a lot. Insightful. Advocates typically strive to move past appearances and get to the heart of things. This can give them an almost uncanny ability to understand people's true motives, feelings, and needs. I don't know about how strong this is with me, because I can't think of an example where I've utilized this power, if you will. So I don't know for certain if I feel that, but I do definitely agree with this first sentence in that appearances are secondary, and people's actions, their motives, their intentions, the way they handle things, that to me is what's much more important. Principled. People with the advocate personality type tend to have deeply held beliefs, and their conviction often shines through when they speak or write about subjects that matter to them. I agree with that. Advocates can be compelling and inspiring communicators with their idealism, persuading even the hardest of skeptics. Have I persuaded you? Have I convinced you that this is my personality type? Yeah. But yeah, again, like, I'm not going to keep hampering on because a lot of this I just agree with. It feels right. It fits right with me. It feels like these things. And, you know, like I said, we're taking this with a pinch of salt, because if someone says things that are close enough, but some things don't quite hit, you can't just be like, meh, I guess they work too. But a lot of this rings true to me. Passionate. Yes, I am. Advocates can pursue their ideals with single-mindedness that may catch others off guard. Their personality rarely settles for good enough, and their willingness to disrupt the status quo may not please everyone. That said, advocates' passion for their chosen cause is a key aspect of their personality. This here, yes, hurts. Moving on. I don't want to go into it. I'm not going into it, but yes, that is a key element of me. Altruistic. Advocates generally aim to use their strengths for greater good. They rarely enjoy succeeding at other people's expense. Now, this is correct. This is kind of what I was getting at when we had that question earlier in the quiz. If I get ahead at the expense of someone else, and I know I've kind of stepped over someone to get there, I'm going to feel guilt-ridden and horrible about having done that, so I wouldn't do it. If I have to step over people or put people down or push them out the way to get where I want, I will find another way to get where I want, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want that to be my legacy or the way I do things. I prefer to do it off my own hard graft and be respected for the effort and energy I put into things than, oh, well, she got ahead because of X, Y, Z, right? So I definitely stand by that. They tend to think of how their actions will affect others, and their goal is to behave in a way that will help people around them and make the world a better place. Yep. Couldn't agree more with that bottom paragraph. All right, now let's pull me down a peg or two. Let's talk about my weaknesses. Sensitive to criticism. When someone challenges their principles or values, advocates may react strongly. People with this personality type can become defensive in the face of criticism and conflict, particularly when it comes to issues that are near to their heart. Agreed. I don't need to talk any further than that. That put it quite clearly. Reluctant to open up. Oh, really? The girl who said at least 4 times in this video she doesn't want to talk about it? Advocates value honesty, yes, but they're also private. They may find it difficult to open up and be vulnerable about their struggles. Not sure how much I agree with that. But then thinking over it, if I've discussed things like that with people, it has been with people I am very close to and have very strong connections with. So, okay, maybe I'll agree with that. This might also be because they think they need to solve their problems on their own and don't want to burden others with their issues. Not this. I think I've learned as I've grown. Not everything has to be tackled on your own. You can seek advice, and there's nothing wrong with needing help. This, though, I will agree with that. I don't like to burden other people with my issues, especially if I'm like, this is such a pathetic thing to be annoyed about. So I'm just not going to go there. I don't want to talk about it. I don't need to talk about it. I'm just being silly. If I think my issues are silly myself, then I will not talk to anyone about them, and I'll kind of stew, which isn't good or healthy, but 'tis me. When advocates don't ask for help, they may inadvertently hold themselves back or create distance in their relationship. Perfectionistic, I guess that word is. The advocate personality type is all but defined by idealism. Yep, I will agree with that. While this is a wonderful quality in many ways, an ideal situation is not always possible. Advocates might find it difficult to appreciate their jobs, living situations, or relationships if they are continuously fixating on imperfections and wondering whether they should be looking for something better. This is probably the one thing I try and deal with most in my day-to-day life, like accepting things for what they are and trying to appreciate what they are. And I constantly come up with the best situation and ideals and things I want and things I want to achieve, and I'm a very kind of, because I'm always planning and I'm always thinking forwards and I'm always trying to think of the next step to progress to the next thing I want to achieve. Like, I'm always there. I'm kind of like half in the future all the time, if you will, imagining things and dreaming up these wonderful scenarios. So then when real life doesn't meet them or match them, I find that so hard to take, and I really struggle to deal with it. And I have been trying super, super hard, especially over the last year. I've been struggling with this a lot bit more over the last year. Probably because I've had to spend a lot more time with myself and kind of not doing anything else, as we all have. But yeah, it's kind of just trying to take things for what they are and take the small victories in everything, right? So even if it's not a big victory, even if it's a little victory, I got to take those small wins and take those as like, this is good. This is the progress you're looking for. It might not be exactly what you were after right now, but you've made progress with this thing. So yeah, this one's extremely strong for me. The perfectionist kind of side of things, I definitely agree with. Avoiding the ordinary. Advocate personalities tend to be motivated by a sense of having a greater purpose in life. I said that earlier. They might consider it tedious or unnecessary to break their big visions into small, manageable steps. Hello, what I was just saying. They may be setting themselves up for frustration if they don't turn their dreams into everyday routines and to-do lists. Without these specifics, their goals may never materialize. Yep. I literally just spoke about this for 5 minutes, so I'm not going any further into it. Prone to burnouts, advocates' perfectionism and reserve may leave them with few options for letting off steam. People with this personality type can exhaust themselves if they don't find a way to balance the drive to help others with necessary self-care and rest. Right, again, we're coming back to this. It seems to me that this focuses a lot on this personality type being about helping others. And like I said, there is an element of that in me. Don't get me wrong, I do agree with that. But for me, it's not the stronger force from what we're reading. For me, the stronger force is dreaming big and feeling that there's a sense of purpose in life and needing a sense of purpose in life and the perfectionist stuff and having to have things a certain way and all that stuff. Like this helping other people is there, but reading this, I just don't feel quite as strongly agreeing with those things as I do maybe others. So for me, this prone to burnout is here for me, this first sentence. Don't find a way to balance the drive to help others and self-care. To me, it's not finding the balance between trying to reach your goals and self-care, right? So there have been times where I pushed this one so hard that this falls to the wayside, and then this kind of catches up with me. It's like, no, you got to look after yourself now or you're going to really have a problem. So then I have to focus on this side, and then this starts to fall to the wayside, and then I get more frustrated. And it's like a toss-up between the two. That's the balance I would say prone to burnout to me is, rather than the balance between helping others and helping myself, if that makes sense. In conclusion, few personality types are as passionate as enigmatic as advocates. As someone with this personality type, you stand out for your imagination, your compassion, your integrity, and your deeply held principles. I agree with this entirely, because these are 4 things I would definitely say I pride myself on: my imagination, compassion, integrity, and deeply held principles. I think that sums me up fairly well, to be fair. Unlike many other idealistic types, however, you are also capable of turning your ideals into plans and executing them. Yet advocates face challenges too. Even the most idealistic and dedicated of personality types can become frustrated when it comes to navigating interpersonal conflicts, confronting unpleasant facts, pursuing self-realization, or finding a fulfilling career path. As a result, you may sometimes find yourself questioning who you really are and who you are really meant to be. This is not fair. I don't like being called out by an internet quiz. What you have read so far is just an introduction. Okay, now it wants me to pay to see more, which we're not going to do. But there we go. That is my personality type. I'm an advocate, or I'm INFJ-T, which is turbulent, not assertive, I think, in decision making. Which, yeah, I guess I would say. I think if we look at the numbers, actually, it's not. Yeah, it's more turbulent, but again, to me, this is just over half, right? It's not like this one here, which is so close to feeling that thinking is almost a moot point. Most of it's fairly balanced, to be fair. Fairly in the middle. Everything's too, like, there's definitely one that is higher than the other, but they're fairly balanced, is what I'm trying to say, I think. And I would say I'm more turbulent than assertive, but I would still say, like, there are some decisions you make and you just have to stand by them, and they don't really need conflict. They don't really need considering, because they are just what they are. But yeah, there are some decisions that come along and you're like, 10 years later, I'm like, Did I make the right choice? Is that what I should have done? But yeah, that is my my personality type. Do let me know if you've done the test. Let me know down in the coffee pot down below what your personality type is. Let me know the 5 letters, because I'd be interested for everyone's T's and A's as well. So do let me know all 5 letters if you can. If you don't know, please feel free to take the test and then let me know what you got, what your result was. If you feel like sharing things, do, but don't feel any need to share anything you don't want to share. Remember, this is the internet, and you don't know who you're talking to, so please just be careful and cautious when you start talking about things and sharing things, but also be nice to each other down in the comments if you do have a wander down there, and make sure you're all compassionate and considerate of everyone else who's down there, and don't be assholes, basically. It's also a pinch of salt, because some of the questions I may have interpreted differently to what someone else would interpret, so it would make you answer them differently. Some of the questions I was answering going, well, this is based on context, so I'm going to less agree or more agree based on that factor. So take it with a pinch of salt. It is an internet test. It's a very good internet test, and a lot of people do this test because it is a good one. But do always take these things with a pinch of salt to get, like, your actual, whatever it's called. To get your actual personality type, you have to do a proper personality test, and there's a lot more to it than just sitting down and answering 100 questions online. But for now, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been an absolute blast, as always. If you enjoyed this video, go show that like button some good old-fashioned love, and if you want to support the channel, go hit subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss next time I upload a video. Stay awesome, and I will see you all in the next video. I hope you feel like you know me better.